So last year we had seen functions in the later part. So we had seen structured programming and modular programming. Okay, so this comes under modular programming. So we'll just revise why we are requiring functions, because in C++ later we are going to see object oriented programming where this all will be requiring. So first we'll see what do we mean by why functions are required. So till now we have written only small programs, but when we are going to write bigger programs, so there may be a case where the same instructions may be repeated again and again. Okay. So when some same instructions are repeated again and again, then the program size also becomes very large. Now suppose you want to do calculation of some square, and that part you are requiring again and again in the same program. Okay. So we'll have to write the code for the same again. So multiple declaration of variables and writing the code again and again makes the program very large. So to reduce this, what happens? We can use functions. So actually, by using the functions, what happens? It avoids rewriting the code over and over again. It is easier to design and manage code and errors. So basically, what is the definition of a function? It is nothing but a set of instructions or group of statements that is executed to carry out a specific task. It is a complete and independent logical component which is used in the main program. Now last year we had seen that basically functions are classified into two types: built-in function and user-defined function. So last year we had seen some built-in functions like square root, power, and absolute. So we are just seeing here built-in library functions that are included in particular header file. Now all of you know that if you don't include the iostream.h in the C++ program, your cin and cout, it will not work. So basically those functions, stream oriented input output functions, they are there in the header file iostream.h. Similarly, if you want to use some mathematical functions like square root, power, or absolute value of a number, so ready-made functions are there written in math.h header file. So you have to just include that header file while compiling in the C++ program. Automatically these functions will be called and you can just pass the values to them and the answers will be. So no need to write the program for square root of a program or power of a program. So directly by using this header file, all ready-made functions you can use. Similarly, string.h is there. So this is used for comparing the strings. So last year we are not seen strings. Strings means characters or text of characters, okay, like your name. So suppose we want to add two strings or we want to find a particular text from a string. So for that string comparison or string addition, so these functions are ready-madely there in this function. Now we'll just see the advantages of function. Reusability. That means what? We can use the same function again and again whenever it is required. Okay. But debugging is easier. See, when the program is very huge, if you want to trace where you have made some mistakes, it is very difficult, because if the program size is say 1000, then it will be very difficult for you to locate the error. But if it is there in small modules, then the error finding is very easy. So debugging means what? Tracing the program for any errors. Okay. So larger the program, higher is the complexity. Now in functions, what happens? We design small modules which are nothing but a group of statements to do a particular task. So like this, we create n number of modules and that we include in the main program. So whenever it is required, you can just call them. Okay. It is also easy to locate errors and correct them. Now building your own library functions. Now suppose tomorrow you have created a function for sorting an array. So no need to write that program for bubble sort again. So if you just call that function and pass the numbers to it, automatically the numbers will be sorted. So similarly for searching, now suppose you want to search for a particular number and some program you have written in which some searching of the number or name is required. Now if you have already written the program for bubble sort or for some searching technique, so that function you can easily call in the main program instead of writing that code for that searching technique, and you have to just pass the parameters to it. Okay. Now the last one is portability. That means it can run on any machine with little modification. Now we'll just see some functions. Inbuilt function last year also we have seen. So we'll just go through it again. Now see, I have included, by default we include the header files, iostream and conio.h. Now conio.h stands for console input output. So clear screen, CLR is here. It is used to clear the output from the screen. Similarly, get ch, it waits for an keyboard entry, get character. So these functions are ready-made. They are there in the header file conio.h. So if you don't include this header file conio.h, then obviously these functions will not work. Clear screen and get ch. So see, we are included one more header file called math.h. And see, these are the functions. I am purposefully darkened them in blue color. ABS means absolute value. See, these variables are there. X is 16, A is 2, B is 3, C is minus 100. So what will be absolute of C? In the output, what it will be? Absolute of C. C is minus 100. So what will be printed? 100. Now next is square root of X. So X value is 16. So what will be printed? 4.
256.
Now power of a number, A raised to B. So either you can directly give the numbers or you can give the variables which are having the values. So here 2 comma 3 means what? Now 2 is the base and 3 is the power. That means 2 raised to 3. So what you will get?
8.
8. So see last time we have written in 11th standard, we have written the program for calculating the base and power and finding the result. So instead of writing that program, see this function is there called POW. We have to just include the header file math.h and you have to just pass the values to it. Then automatically the answer will come. So see, now what would have happened if this function was not there and you had to calculate base and power. So after this, you would have to write the whole program of calculating base and power, and then you would have got the result. So see here, just by calling this function and including this header file. So see the program, it is very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 lines program is there in which you are getting the absolute value, square root, as well as the power of a number 2 times. Once we are passing the numbers and once we are passing the variables. So here also again 2 and 3 will be passed. So see how the program can be shortened instead of writing the code again and again. Now see here 2 times you are written for power. Power. So in normal case, what would have happened? You would have to write the program for power once, then again for the second time. So instead of writing that, we are just calling the function. Okay. Now for function, there are 3 parts. One is function definition, one is function declaration, and one is function call. Okay. So what do you mean by function definition? Now basically function means what? A logical group of statements. So where you are going to write that? You are going to write that in the function definition. Now here see, the name of the function is sum and the values, 2 values are there, and we are just writing here return x plus y. Now see one more thing, before the name of that function we have written one more data type, that is int. Now this is called the return type. Now this is the name of the function and these are the parameters. X and y are the parameters and this is the return value. Return value means what? Now suppose x and y are set 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 will be added here. That means return 5. So where it will be written? To this function sum, and the return type is int. So you have to specify. Suppose it is an int, then int will be written. Suppose it is a float, float will be written. If you write double, then double will be written. Okay. Now each function must have a unique name. The name of the function in function definition is followed by one or more parameters. So these are nothing but the parameters. You have to specify the data type, whether it is int, character, float, double, etc. So each function carries out specific tasks and the result of which must be communicated back to the calling function. This result is called return value. The type of return value must be specified in the first line of the function definition. So this is the function definition in which the return type is mentioned. Now we'll just see function declaration. So another name for function declaration is function prototype. See, most of the times you must have seen while writing the C++ program that if you are not declared the conio.h header file and you are using the clear screen or getch functions in the program, then you get an error that prototype not found. Okay. So prototype means what? It is nothing but the function declaration. Okay. A function must be declared in the program before it is called in a C++ program. The function definition and function declaration are different. A function may be declared any number of times in a program file, but the function is defined only once in a program. Now function declaration consists of again the same return type, name of the function and parameter list. See, this is the return type, name of the function, these are the parameters. So any difference that you can notice in function declaration and function definition? See, this is the function definition and this is the declaration. So what difference can you notice in both of them?
Semicolon.
Yes, semicolon is there, and here we are just declaring. See, like the variables that we use in the C++ program, you first declare them, otherwise you cannot use them. So see, the name of the function is there, return type is there, the parameters are there, followed by a semicolon. While declaring the function, you have to compulsory give semicolon, and in the function definition, you have to write what that function is going to do, whether it is going to do addition, subtraction, or any other thing, that you have to write in the brackets. Whatever steps you want to write in the function definition, you have to write. And the same thing with the proper data type, you have to write it in the declaration. Okay. Now we'll just see one example how it works. Now this is a program for addition of two numbers. Now see, I have written the header file here. I have not included the conio.h. So that is why I have not used that functions, clear screen and getch over here. If you want to use them, you have to just include that header file. See, two variables are there, x and y. See, this is the function declaration. Function declaration and the function definition. See, in the function definition, no semicolon is there. In the function declaration, if you don't write semicolon, then that will be an error. It is same like declaring the variables. This function you have written for doing some particular task. So that is why declare this function in the main function with a semicolon. See, function declaration, it is also called as prototype. Now we are using one variable called total. Cout, enter the values of x and y. So we are taking the values of x and y. So see, we are writing total is equal to sum xy. Now what is this? I have purposefully written it in blue color. Now this is nothing but the function call. See, this is the name of the function which we are calling. So what will happen when we call this function sum and we pass the values of x and y to this function? Automatically this program will go to the function definition. From here it will directly go to the function definition and the values of x and y. Now suppose x and y are 2 and 3. So those values will be passed to sum, which will be 2 and 3, and it will go to the function definition. See, I have purposefully written it as a and b. You can write x and y also, but purposefully I have written it a and b so that I can show you the difference between parameter and arguments. So these values are passed as an arguments, and a copy of these values. See, copy of these values. Suppose x is 2, y is 3. That will be passed to this as a parameter. So a will be what? X. Y will be what? B. So suppose 2 and 3 we are passing here. So after this function call, it will go to the function and a will be 2, b will be 3. So values of a and b will be passed here. A plus b means what? 2 plus 3, which is 5. And we are returning this back to this function sum. And that is why the return type int is there. So this is an integer variable which you are passing this. So what will happen to sum xy? x and y means what? 2 and 3 will be passed here, and the return type is what? 2 plus 3 is 5, which is written here. So here it will be written. So 5 will be written. So 5 answer will be there here, which will be kept in total. So finally we are printing sum is total will be what? 5. Okay, now see here. The main is calling function. So this is the main function, and this is the function definition that you have written. Now see, function definition usually after the main function, see this is the starting bracket, this is the ending bracket. So after this you have to write the function definition. After the end of the main function, then only you have to start with the function name. Now this function name is there, sum, return type is there, parameters are there. So double slash means comments. So this is nothing but the comment. This is function definition. That is why I have written in comment. So for the function also, there is a starting bracket and end bracket. So you can write down the number of steps, what this function is going to do, whether it is addition, subtraction, or any other thing that you want to do. And you have to just write this here. After the function definition, whatever is there, same thing you have to write it in the function declaration by a comma. See, the name of the variables can be the same. X and Y, you can write it X and Y also here. But purposefully I have written it different. So you can write the same thing also or different also. So main is called function and sum is called function. So when you write sum, that means it is function will be called. So when this program is executing, say step by step, when it reaches this point, it will not go to the next line, C out. After sum, it will go here. The values of a, x and y will be passed to a and b. Return type will be there here. That value will be returned to total, and then we'll just print sum is total. So the function is called, control is transferred to the called function. So this is the function, and whatever function you are calling, it will transfer to this function, and execution of the calling function is temporarily suspended. So this main function, it will temporarily stop when this function is called, because it will go below and do the processing over here, and then again it will come back here and do the last statement. When the called function completes its execution, that means this function completes its execution, the suspended calling function, which is the above function, which was suspended when we called this, because after this it had gone below, and when this is over, then again the value will be returned here, that will be put in total. When the called function completes its execution, the suspended calling function resumes execution at the point immediately following the function call. So the value is returned here, then we are printing the value. So all of you understood function? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So one more example we will see. See, all these examples you don't have to just see. All of you have to try it at home on your computer. Unless and until you try it on your computer every day, you will not understand this. Now one more thing, passing arguments. The variables that are enclosed within the function call are called arguments. So which are the arguments? Now this is the function call. Sum is the function call, and in bracket x and y. So these are called arguments. Okay. So we are passing the arguments to this function. Variables that are enclosed with the function call are called arguments. X and y are arguments which are passed onto the function sum. The parameter list of sum contains two integer values, variables a and b. These are called parameters. Parameter list of sum. They receive copy of the values from the arguments and are utilized within the body of function. Means what? When you are passing x and y as an argument to this, so a copy of x and y will be passed as parameter to a and b. Okay. So that is why purposefully I have written a and b here and not x and y. But while programming, you can use the same variable which is there here also, and return x plus y. But I wanted to show you what argument means, what parameter means. That is why purposefully I have written it different. So arguments are x and y. A copy of x and y will be passed as parameters to a and b. So suppose x is 2, y is 3. So 2 and 3 will be there here, which is 5, which will be returned to this value. and the return value will be kept in total. Okay. The number of arguments should be equal to the number of parameters. Means what? Now suppose x and y is there here. So similarly here there should be two variables. If is only one variable is there, that means it is wrong. Suppose three variables are there, again then it is wrong. So whatever is there in the while calling the function, same thing should be there in the calling function. Suppose there are three variables here, x, y, z. Similarly, there should be three here. Okay. Number of arguments should be equal to the number of parameters. The data type of argument should match the data type of the corresponding parameters. Means what? Data type. Now see here, the data type is int. Here also it is int. So same way, here also it should be int and int. And similarly, the return type also. Suppose here int is there and here you don't write anything. So that will be an error. Or if you write float or double here and if you write int over here, again that will be an error. So whatever is the data type here, same data type should be in the declaration as well as in the calling function. The data type of argument should match the data type of the corresponding parameters. There must be one-to-one correspondence in the order of arguments and parameters. Means what? Now suppose you are calculating the area of say triangle. Okay, what is the formula for area of a triangle? Yes, area of a triangle, any given triangle. Half base into height, isn't it?
Yes.
So basically x and y, suppose x is base and y is height. Similarly, this should be the same. This should not be the other way around. Height first and then base. Now this is okay for because we are going to multiply this, but it should be the same here. One-to-one correspondence means the same. Suppose this is the base, again this should be the base. And suppose you are calculating the power of a number. Now this is the base, this should be the base. This is the power, this should be the power. Not the other way around. Now this is the base and this is the power, or this is the power, this is the base. If you use this, then it will be wrong. Same variables can be used as argument and parameters. Like I told you, x and y, suppose it is there here. You can use x and y here also, x and y here also. But purposefully for knowing difference between argument and parameter, I have written it different. Okay. So one or two examples we'll just see of function. This you have to try at home. So this is minimum of two given numbers. See, we have taken two variables, num1, num2, one more variable called minimum, and the name of the function is minimum. See, this function definition you have to write after the main function is over. This is the starting bracket, this is the ending bracket. You have to write this after here. See, I have just written the comment over here, function definition. So this is the name of the function. See, one more thing. You cannot use the variable name same as the function name. Okay. If you use the function name and the variable name same, then that will be an error. So that is why here I have written min and the name of the function is minimum. See, this is function declaration where we have to give the semicolon, and this is the function definition. Definition means what? What that program is going to do, that code you are going to write. See, two variables are there, n1 and n2. So we are just defined one more variable called min. Now if the first number is greater than the second number, obviously minimum will be the second number, else minimum will be the first number. So whatever is stored in min, we are returning. So whatever is the answer, whether the first number is greater or the second number is greater, that will be stored in min, and we are returning this back to the function. Now see, we are calling this function minimum here, passing the two values num1 and num2 as arguments. So this will be passed as parameters to this function n1 and n2. So suppose 2 and 3 are there, these are passed here. So 2 is greater than 3. No. So what will happen? Minimum will be 2. Then return 2. So when we call this function with this arguments, the answer will be returned to min, and we can just print out this min. So I just shown you the output also. So all of you understood this program?
Sir.
Yes.
सर फंक्शन डिक्लेरेशन मध्ये n1 n2 च्या जागी num1 num2 असायला हवं ना.
No. See, we are using the variables here. What? Num1, num2. See, like I told you before, if the name of the variable is same as the argument, there is no problem. Okay. See, n1, if you write num1, num2 also, it will be, but the name of the function and the name of the variable, if they are same, then that will be a problem. If you write here, instead of n1, if you write num1, num2, that is also okay. But see, the function definition, we have written n1, n2. So same thing I have written in function declaration. Even if you write here num1, num2, and here also num1, num2, here also num1, num2, that is also fine. Okay. But only the name of the function and name of the variable, both of them should not be the same. All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
These programs we have seen in 11th also, but these were the last few lectures and many of you are not present. So we are just covering this before we start the rest of the functions. Now this is a program for calculating factorial of a number using function. See, this is a normal program. After the main function, you have to write the name of the function, what this function is going to do. Now see, the return type I have used here long int. Why? Because whenever you calculate number greater than 7, so that will be greater than the maximum value that is available in integer. What is the maximum number that can be stored in an integer variable? Yes? 3 to 767. That is the maximum number that you can store in an integer variable. If you are storing number greater than that, then it will go into negative. So you have to use a bigger number. So if you want to calculate factorial of 8, then see, obviously it is greater than 3 to 767, maximum than int. So it will show in negative. So that is why I am using the return type as long int. So see, here also number is a parameter. See, here only one argument is there. In the previous examples, 2 arguments were passed. Here only one. Because to calculate factor of a number, we require only one value of a number for which to calculate the factorial. Now see, enter the number. We have entered the number. Result is equal to fact. We are passing the number over here. This is function call, function declaration, function definition. Now we are passing the number over here. And then what will happen? The program will stop here. When this function is called, automatically it will go to the function definition. And here also we have defined this. See, from 1 to less than equal to number, result is equal to result star I. So every time it will, suppose the number is 5. So what will be here? From 1 to less than equal to 5, result is equal to result star I. So if you don't initialize result to some value 1, then again your answer will become wrong because it will contain some garbage value. So we have, because we are multiplying result by some variable, so that is why we have initialized it to 1. So first will be what? Suppose we are calculating the factorial for 5. So I is 1, I is less than number, result is equal to result star I. So what will be 5 star I? So basically first I is 1. So this will be 1. Then I will become 2. Then what will happen? 1 into 2. Then 2 into 3. And so on. So finally 120 will be the answer, which will be returned to this long int. So whenever you are calling this function fact, so when you pass the value 5 to this, so 120 answer will be returned to result, which we are, factorial of a number. For 5, 120 will be written. Now suppose you are given 8, so this value will be written 40320 in result, and that you can just print. So that is why result also I have written as long int and not int. If I write it result as int, then that value which will be printed here, that will be going into negative number. So this is for factorial of a number. So we had also seen power of a number. So this is for power of a number. Now see here, function declaration, function call, function definition. Function definition means what? The real code of that program. So this is a logical steps for that power of a number. And here in the main program, what we are doing, we are just calling that function power. See here also the name of the variable and name of the function. So this should not be the same. Okay. Whatever arguments you pass, that can be the same, but the name of the function and the variable name, that should not be the same. Now here we are passing base and power. So when we are calling this function power, automatically base and power, suppose base is 2, power is 3. So these values will be passed over here, which will be passed here to base and power. So here also we are writing one program for I is equal to 0, I less than power, result is equal to result star base. Now if you write I is equal to 1 here, at that time you have to write I is less than equal to power, because we have to multiply the base how many times? Now suppose base is 2, power is 3. So we have to multiply base how many times? 3 times we have to multiply. So result, what is it? Is 1. 1 into, suppose 2 raised to 3 is there. So result is initially 1. 1 into base means what? 2. So till which reaches power. So 3 times this will be multiplied. 1 into 2, then again 2 into 2, then again 2 into 2. Okay. So return result. So here see also data type is what? Int. So result, suppose 2 raised to 3 is there. So the answer will be 8 here, which will be returned to result. And we are just printing the cout statement of result. So all of you understood functions?